Hello viewers, welcome to the digital class of Udayanath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. So viewers, today's video will be all about the extension of our last video, that is function accepting the values but not returning any type of values. So whenever a function is returning any type of value, then it is considered as another category. So this is the second category of function, that means the function accepting the values but not returning any type of values. So in today's video we will expand it, or we will be learning some more examples by taking some examples through the program. So our first program is write a program to enter a number and calculate its factorial. So we have to enter a number and we have to calculate its factorial by using or by implementing the second category of function, that is function accepting but not returning any values. So our program will start with the general syntax of writing has include stdio.h, which is the general syntax of writing a program, and standard input output header file. Next comes our function declaration. So as we have discussed earlier that before writing the main function we should declare a function so that it will be easier to elaborate the function later on. That means we will declare the function first, then we will define the function. So the function, as it will not return any value, so the return type will be void. So let us say void, let us say I will take fact and I will enter a number, let us say int n. So in this way fact is a user defined function which will accept the value from the calling function, but it will not return any type of value. So as fact function will not return any type of value, so it is considered as void. So now we will be writing void main, which is the main or very important part of a function, because the program execution starts from the main function. Next I have to enter a number, let us say int a. I will give you a message printf enter a number. I will write scanf %d ampersand a. So in this way I have given a message to enter a number, then I have entered a number in a. Now I will pass this value of a to the fact function. So how to pass it? So I will write fact simply a. So when I am writing this one fact of a, that means a will be passed from main function to fact function. Now we will be moving to fact function. So here I will write int n, because n is the variable which will hold the value of a, and the data type of n should be same as the data type of the variable. So the data type of a was int. So I have to take the data type of n as int2, because it will not receive any type of other values. Now I have to calculate the factorial. Let us say I will write int f equal to 1. So let us say I will write while n greater than equal to 1, f equal to f into n equal to n minus 1. Now I will print the value of f, which is factorial. Let us say I will write factorial equal to %d, because the format specifier of f is int, %d f. Now our program got ended. So here I will start with standard header file, standard input output header file. Next I will move to fact function, that means this is the declaration part. So we must declare a function first, then we will be using it, or we will be defining the body or definition of the function. Next comes the main function. So here I have taken int a. So a will reserve a memory, it will give a message enter a number, then it will give scanf ampersand a. So in a, let us say someone has entered 4. So 4 will be stored in a. Now fact function will be called and a will be passed. So what is the value of a over here? The a value is 4. So 4 will be passed to fact function. So fact will receive the value of a through n. So n will have the value as 4. Now I have written int f equal to 1. So the value of f is 1. Now you can see n is greater than equal to 1. That means 4 is greater than equal to 1. Yes, true. here it will come f into n, 1 into 4 that is 4, it will be stored in f, n equal to n minus 1, so n value becomes 3. So when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to the condition again. Now the value of n is 3, 3 is greater than equal to 1, yes true, it will enter over here, f into n, 4 into 3, 12, it will be stored in f, n equal to n minus 1, so the value of n was 3, so 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 will be stored in n. So when it will come to here, it will be redirected to this one, n will be greater than equal to 1, yes 2 is greater than equal to 1, f into n, 12 into 2, 24 will be stored in f. Now n equal to n minus 1, the value of n was 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So when it will move to here, 1 is greater than equal to 1, yes true, it will come over here, f into n, 24 into 1 is again 24, n equal to n minus 1, so n value will become 0. So when it will be redirected to this condition, it will check 0 is greater than equal to 1, false, 0 is not greater than equal to 1. So it will come out from this block and it will print factorial equal to, so it will print the message factorial equal to, so in place of percentage d, it will print the value of f. So what is the value of f over here? 24, so it will print factorial equal to 24. Then it will come over here and the program will be ended. So in this process, we have collected the value from the user through the main function. So here main function is the calling function. Why it is known as calling function? Because main function called fact function. So a function which calls another function is the calling function, and the function which is being called is called the called function. So here fact is the called function. So in this case, or in this category of function, we are dealing with function passing the value but not returning any type of value. So here calling function pass the value to the called function, but called function is not returning any type of value to the calling function. So this is the first category of main function. So here main function is the calling function. Why it is called as calling function? Because main function is calling the fact function. That's why it is known as the calling function. Similarly, fact function is called the called function because on being called, this function is called by the calling function. So fact function is the called function. So here you can see that calling function passes a value to the called function, call function receives the value, calculates, but does not return any value to the calling function. So this is the second category of function, that is function accepting the value but not returning any type of value. Now we will move to another program, that is we have to enter a number and we have to display its factor. But the thing is that here we will be implementing the function that will accept the value but it will not return any type of value. That is the second category of functions. So we will start with program. So as we know, the program starts with hash include stdio.h, which is a general syntax of writing a program, that is standard input output header file. Next, as we know, or as we have discussed earlier, that before writing the main function we should write or we should declare the function first. So let us say we will take a function named as fact. So as we are discussing about functions not returning value, so obviously the return type of the user defined function over here should be void. So let us say I will write void fact and it will accept a value, let us say int n. So we have declared a function fact and it will not return any type of values, that is why we have written it as void. Next we will be declaring main function. So this is the very important part of a function because the program execution starts from the main function. So let us say I have to enter a number, so I have written int a, so I have to give a message, let us say I will write printf enter a number, scanf %d ampersand a. So as per the requirement of the program we have to enter a number, so I have taken a variable a in order to store a number and I have accepted the number from the user. Now I have to pass this value to the fact function. So how to pass it? Let us say I have written fact and I have simply written a over here. So when I am writing this one, so it will be redirected to the fact function. Let us say I have written fact int n. So now we have to calculate the factorial. So let us say I have written here int x equal to 1. So I have written here while x less than equal to n. Okay. Now if n modulo x equal to 0, so it will print the value of x backslash n percentage d x. Now x will be incremented by 1. So why I have written this type of thing? So what is the logic of factor? So simple, I have, let's say I will enter a number 6. So what is the factor of, or what are the factors of 6? So as we know, the factors of 6 always starts with, of any number, the factor always starts with 1 and it moves up to the number. That's why I have started the loop from 1 and it will move up to n. So whatever number you are entering, it will always start from 1 and it will move to that particular number. So what are the factors? So 1, 2, 3 and 6 are the factors of 6. So always you can see the factor starts with 1 and it always ended with that number. So that's why I have started the loop from 1 and it will move up to the original number. So let's say I have written here int a. So a will be declared first. So I have given a message. Now I have to enter a number. Let's say I have entered 6 in a. Now I am passing the value of a, that is 6, to fact function. So a will be received by n over here. So let's say n will hold the value as 6. Now it will come to here int x equal to 1. So x will hold the value as 1. Now it will check the condition. 1 is less than equal to 6. True or false? Yes, true. It will enter the block. 6 is divisible by 1. Yes, true. It is divisible. So it will enter the block. It will print the value of x. So instead of printing the format specified, it will print the value of x. So what is the value of x over here? X value is 1. So 1 will be printed. So when it will come over here, then as it is not a loop, so it will not move or it will not jump to other lines, rather it will move to the next line. So x equal to x plus 1. Now the value of x has been increased to 2. So when it will move over here, it will be redirected to this condition again. So now it will check x is less than equal to n, 2 is less than equal to 6, yes, true. It will enter over here, 6 is divisible by 2, yes, true. 6 is divisible by 2 and the remainder is 0. So it will enter the block as the condition satisfied. So it will enter the block, it will print the value of x. So what is the value of x over here? 2. Again it will come over here, x equal to x plus 1. So the x value will be 3. So it will come over here, 3 is less than equal to 6, yes, true. 3 is less than equal to 6. It will come over here, 6 is divisible by 3, yes, true. 6 is divisible by 3 and the remainder is 0. So the condition satisfied, it will enter the block, it will print the value of x. So what is the value of x over here? It will print the value of x, that is 3. When it will come to here, x equal to x plus 1, now the x value will be incremented by 1 and it moves to 4. Now when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to this condition. So x is less than equal to n, 4 is less than equal to 6, yes, true. It will come over here, 6 is divisible by 4, no, 6 is not divisible by 4. The remainder is something else rather than 0. So it will not enter the block over here. It will come to this point, x equal to x plus 1. So x value will be incremented by 5. Then when it will come to this one, again it will be redirected to this condition. 5 is less than equal to 6. Yes, true. It will come over here. 6 is divisible by 5. No, 6 is not divisible by 5 and the remainder is not 0. So it will not enter the block over here. It will come to this one, x equal to x plus 1. Now the x value will be incremented to 1, that is 6. So when it will come to here, it will be redirected to this one. So x is less than equal to n, 6 is less than equal to 6. Yes, true. It will enter the block. 6 is divisible by 6. Yes, 6 is divisible by 6 and the remainder is 0. So it will enter the block over here and it will print the value of x. So what is the value of x over here? That is 6. Now it will come to here, x equal to x plus 1. The value of x will be incremented to 7. So it will check 7 is less than equal to 6. False. The condition returns false and it will come out from this block and it will come over here and this is the end of the program. So as you see that these are the factors of 6, so which we have already written over here. That means the whole program is correct as per the requirement of the program. So as we know that we have to enter a number, so we have to enter a number in the calling function. Similarly here main function is the calling function. So why we are calling it as a calling function? Because calling function calls a function, and the function which is being called is called the called function. So here fact is the called function, and whenever we are passing any value to the called function receives it, calculates it and displays it, but does not return any value to the calling function. So this is all about entering a number and displaying its factors. Now let us take another example. We have to enter a number and we have to display its digit, but the condition is that we have to use special category of function, that is function accepting the value but not returning any type of values. So now we will be moving to the program. So as we know, the program starts with hash include stdio.h, then comes our void main, but as we have discussed that before writing the void main we should declare the function first. So we should declare the function first, then we will move to main function. So we have to define the function. As we are not returning any type of value, so the function return type should be void. So I will write void, let us say I will write dig for digit extraction. So let us say dig int n. That means we have declared a function, user defined function, that is dig, where it will accept the value through the variable n. Now we will be moving to the main function. Let us say I will write void main, and I have to enter a number. Let us say I will enter a number. I have taken int a. I will give a message. Let us say printf enter a number. Now I will write scanf %d ampersand a. Now we will be entering a number in the main function, and now we will passing that value to the called function. So let us say I have taken the function over here is dig, and I have simply passed the value of a to dig function. Now we will be defining dig function. So dig, let us say I have entered n. So a will be passed and it will be received by the variable n. Now I have to calculate, or I have to display the digits present in n, and I have to print it. So let us say I will take int r, where it will calculate the digit of n and it will print it. So let us say I will write while n not equal to 0. So until unless the value of n becomes 0, the loop will continue. So let us say r equal to n modulo 10, then we have to print the value of r. Let us say printf \n %d r, and I have to write n equal to n by 10. So you can see that the program has been written over here. Now we will explain it with the help of an example. So our program started with declaring a function. So we have declared a user defined function named as dig, and we have specified the return type of dig as void, because dig will not be returning any type of value to the calling function. So I have written int a over here. So a is a variable which will accept the value. Let us say the user has entered 423. Okay, so 423 has been stored in a. Now the value of a will be passed to dig function. So dig will pass 423. So 423 will be received by the variable n. So n is responsible for holding the value of a. So let us say n will have the value as 423. Now it will come over here and it will take another variable, let us say r. Okay, so here it will come and it will check 423 is not equal to 0. Yes, 423 is not equal to 0. It will enter the block as the condition satisfies. So it will enter over here. Now it will divide the number with the 10 value. So let us say the value of n is 423. So it will divide 423 by 10. Let us say 42, 420, and the remainder becomes 3. So as we have given modulo operator over here, so it will divide the number and it will return the remainder of that number. So the remainder is 3, and 3 will be stored in r. So the value of r is 3. Now it will print the value of r. So what is the value of r is over here? That is 3. So it will print 3. Now it will come over here, n by 10. So what is the value of n over here? 423. 423 will be divided by 10. but here we are using division symbol. So division symbol will return the quotient. So 423 will be divided by 10, but the quotient will be returned. So what is the quotient value? That is 42. So 42 will be stored in the n itself. So now the value of n will be 42. So when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to this condition. That is, again it will check n is not equal to 0, 42 is not equal to 0, yes true, 42 is not equal to 0. It will come over here. Now n will be divided by 10. So what is the value of n now? 42. So 42 will be divided by 10. Let us say 10 4s are 40 and the remainder is 2. So as we are using modulo division operator over here, so remainder will be stored in R. So what is the remainder? That is 2. So 2 will be stored in R. Now it will print the value of R. So what is the value of R now? 2. So it will print 2. Now the value of n becomes n by 10. So what is the value of n now? 42. So 42 will be divided by 10, but here as we are using the division symbol, so it will return the quotient. So what is the quotient over here? That is 4. So 4 will be stored in n. So when it will come to this one, it will be redirected to this condition. Again it will check n is not equal to 0. 4 is not equal to 0. Yes true, 4 is not equal to 0. So it will enter the block n modulo 10. So 4 will be divided by 10 now. 10 0 is 0, then remainder comes 4. So as we are using modulo division operator over here, so it will return the remainder, that is 4. So 4 will be stored in R. So now the value of R becomes 4. So it will come over here, it will print the value of R, that is 4. Now n by 10. So what is the value of n now? That is 4. So 4 will be divided by 10, but as we are using the division operator, so it will return the quotient. So 4 will be divided by 10 and the quotient is 0 now. Now the value of n has been changed to 0. So when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to this condition. Now it will check n is not equal to 0, 0 is not equal to 0, false, 0 is equal to 0. So the condition will return false and it will come out from this block, and finally it will come out from the program. So as you can see that we have entered the number 423 and we have got all the digits in different lines. So this is the logic and this is the formula through which we can extract any number of digits from any number. So in this way we have entered the number from the calling function. So here main function is the calling function and we are calling dig function. So dig function is the called function. So here dig is the called function. So in this way we called a function from this point. We have defined the function calculated the value and displayed it, but it has not returned any type of value to the calling function. That's why the function has been termed or returned as void. So this is all about the program. So I hope you have all understood some of the related programs of function second category, that is function accepting the value but not returning any type of value. So if you have any doubt, you can comment me on our YouTube channel. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.